where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. We want for big pardon, we start very late because of the weather conditioning, one or two challenges we encounter presently. But however, the program for go on, and we there now for make we talk to una this afternoon and make una self talk to we later on at the program. My name na Alex Lawrence Koroma. Like all time we there every Sunday for talk on issues we get for do with national development. And today at the program we all don't they waiting they happen at the country. Issues of price where they continue for the go up. The condition of living generally. Now one way plenty people they say it only become very difficult where many people face a government for take some actions we go make the life of people them continue for go normal. Many people again believe say we Sierra Leone and civil society opposition gets role and responsibilities where we for play for make we support government for achieve the thing them we want to do for make we get a better Sierra Leone. So today we have to for look at some of the issues and we get for the one why we price and continue for the gap waiting missing who side the problem there before now when the past government been in power people will be on the cry say thing and be there up, but again now when we get a new government so plenty people believe say for be a change we also they encounter what they call high price in commodities and other things them. So today we come for look at anything and we expect civil society and Lahai and Leema from the Sierra Leone People's Party, but now the studio have for welcome Minkailu Koroma. We represent the All People's Congress. Good afternoon, welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon, Alex. Thanks for welcoming me.
All right, like I told earlier on, my name now Alex Lawrence Koroma, and as we go on at the program later on, you will get the opportunity for call on the number 077 981 981 or 099 981 981. But for now, you also see we on Facebook page, so you can comment on our Facebook page, radiodemocracy.sl. We continue with the program. The program is salon today, and it come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Let's bring you Mr. Koroma. Looking at the current issues. Before now, when we have been in power, a lot of cry beyond the price of things and they go up. And now when plenty people believe say we don't get a new government, people vote because possibly they want to change from what it be done they happen. But people still experience some of the things maybe worse than how it be they happen before. Waiting una don't they observe as an opposition or from when una in a government, which if is responsible for the state of affairs in the country will make the price of things and continue to be a concern.
Thank you very much, Alex. In the first instance, I'm glad you note say during with stewardship, a lot of rumor been they say things then they go up. If we win elections, there was a point here in this very studio in this room where the current Minister of Finance, Jacob Jusu Safa, Assad say if the APC win elections, the fuel price go up. It begs the question why that the people of this country vote then the SLPP now then they in governance, but the fuel price still don't go up. The point where they try for put forward now that during with stewardship as a government, the APC-led government now this country, the SLPP embark on waiting I go refer to as naive cynicism. They embark on distortion of facts and they embark for bastardize some of the policies them what they put forward as a government. Then tell the people of this country boku things the way it be say if they come now government they go can do and Sierra Leone go become a paradise. Now I make Waki reflect my memory to the presidential debates where AYV and other partners then be organized now been to money. Dr. Samura Kamara be making clear with him vast experience we again our government. He say most people just they talk. They don't know how for run a country look like. They don't know what in government mean. Pass them give them the opportunity for serve, then go understand what it mean for governing states. Now the reasons for the alarming price for most of the commodities them in this country, not because of the forces of demand and supply, not of the natural makings of the markets, now because of the bad policies them where this government here don't they implement lately. Them policies they are now they're responsible for the current economic trend or the upwards way the economy they go and where people and they suffer. This government embark on a massive new policies them after where they assume power. The first one, now the executive order one. The executive order one say we for now get what to call a single treasury account. In other words, all of the money where government get for the inside one pot. Therefore, lock all the other accounts the way ministries, departments, and agencies then they run for consolidate the money. The executive order one also been get for say all the duty waivers them. Where then in their own view or opinion not called for, where government be don't give some partners and individuals, then put a stop to that, they not for continue for happen going forward. The executive order one being get for make a lot of things them where it be say affect the economy directly and indirectly, where people don't understand. Now, if you get companies the way government go give you to waivers, for make them can invest in the country, at some point, they employ Sierra Leoneans them, and at the end of the day, you just come, you distort all of that, you for no say the economy get for stiff. As far as me concerned, government na continuity. And because government na continuity, waiting you predecessor don't do, where you come, you know for say, at the camp pull all of them good things there and bring new ones them. If you say you pull them where you not put mechanisms in place as to waiting will be a correct supplement to the thing and the country just get for stiff. So this not a secret. You don't need for study rocket science for understand what's in the happen right now in the country. You don't need for be an economist for know what's in the happen. In other words, I try for tell you say like I start the reasons for the hardship now this country, not because of the forces of demand and supply, not because of the natural makings of the market, but rather now because of the bad policies them what they implement as a government. Now they're responsible for the current hardship.
All right, now let me look at the one way talk about we get for do the single treasury account. Now one way this government meet, where the past government be don't recommend already. And according to President Koroma in Nova speech, now one of them don't begin implement from 2017. So which are the changes where having a hardship?
Now if even that get problem. Because I get for they draw references to a lot of other presentations where this government don't do, where even contradict them push for a single treasury account. I agree say Dr. Kaifala Mara, when I be Minister of Finance and Economic Development, now one of the people that will really be the propagate this single treasury account, will be the push for law get a single treasury account. It takes processes. You not go grab one morning, governance na process. We not say government are the machinery. We're responsible for carry the day-to-day affairs of the state. But governance na a process. Where be say you know they grab one morning, if you say this will happen and it happen, it get for take time. And it will only happen the way how you want to make it happen to the benefits of all and sundry where you go through the required processes where it for go. It's not bad for law get a single treasury account. But you get for don't address all other things then correctly, where for make you decide for close all other accounts and get a single treasury account. Assuming me they work for, let's say the Environment Protection Agency, then we get an account where they operate. And we get activities then for implement. Then government come. It just say now we don't close all the account there. It means all of waiting we they do as an institution, they come to a standstill. Because me not a signatory to the single treasury account, if you mean at the boss of EPA, for example, not a signatory to the single treasury account, we mean say all of the activities wait for be implemented. Now you don't start to implement activities, government departments and agencies, you don't contract suppliers them, where perhaps you don't pay them upfront or you don't pay them some of the money, you get for pay them balance. You remember that a lot of suppliers them make claims where this government comes say the past government not been conclude dealings with them. In the supplementary budget where the Minister of Finance even puts in Parliament for debate and for endorsement, he even states and they say this government don't decide for pay all the areas where they get for pay contractors and people the way they be blah 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 money. It states and clearly when we say government and continuity, even if we want get the single treasury account, it was going to take some time. Now we try for harmonize, all O2 for harmonize everything correctly, and then we can get them. That not just one. Now, you get this other proposal where them put forward, and where Parliament don't approve. First of all, Sierra Leone is a highly religious country. We get Christians there, we get Muslims there. They all believe in God, and we are fervent worshippers there. We mean say to we, if you alcohol business not to anything for celebrate, you not go say you they remove taxes per alcohol, then You can make fuel subsidies, you pull and you make fuel increase. You dey give preference to alcohol than fuel. Now let's tell you how fuel dey affect the daily sustenance of the people of this country. Fuel and energy. This country no go run or no go move without fuel. Most of the transportation, the movement of people and passengers and goods from one location to another, na petrol they use. You use okada, you use keke, you use a stationary vehicle, you use tipper for even go buy coal upline and bring and come na friton. Na fuel you dey use. So if you see you increase the price of fuel, the hardship they can at the country and people go be affected, because everybody in a little corner get for use fuel. If you pay okada for take you from one village to another, na fuel. If I been to pay from my 91 for go inside Bankolenken, for example, 25,000 leones per okada, now then go don increase am to 30 or 35,000 leones. Wey mean say all land they contribute to the hardship wey people dey suffer na this country. So I still wan narrow or zero on the point say the hardship na this country na because of some of the policies that lately we don implement.
We also don dey see the issue of the dollar rate wey continue again for the GOP. As of Friday, many people they say it's around 840, 830, and when the current government be in opposition, some of the promises now for can control the rate at which dollar they go up and other things. Why up to now you feel say we're not able to reach, although you say na policies, if you say the policy is still responsible for the increase?
Yes. Just recently we've been there. They discuss on issues. We tell how certain policies of this government they contribute to the skyrocketing of the dollar and they devalue the loans. Now, even when they tend to give preference to foreign industries then or multinational companies, then to you say them go compete with the local companies. Then we also say that in one of the reasons where they make the dollar price they increase and the loans they devalue. Most of the things then where they happen currently in the country, they contribute to that. Now that make us start to tell you say running a country not a fiction, not a imaginary something. This na reality. This get for do with daily sustenance of the people. Now life something this. You not go just you imagine say what come now this and this are they can do. Then now we come it don't be very difficult for you for handler. Now look what happen a neighbor in Liberia. If you take a look, some people they even claim say Sierra Leone now the least fuel price would they enjoy. We totally not correct. Now the fuel price na Liberia where they don't put and down now $0.84. Where Sierra Leone now $1.04. If you convert the money into dollars based on the official price, you get some other countries there like Iran and other countries that when are even $0.27, $0.24. You understand? We not even reach half a dollar. We mean say the thing where they be the bill and what thing they tell people not correct. Now President we are in Liberia no say we don't make claims at the government. Say Sierra Leone with a smuggle fuel, go sell on a Liberia, go sell on a Guinea. Perhaps in my own view, this not to anything official, I not get them from any official document, but in my own view, perhaps one of the reasons that the way make presidents we are in wisdom decide for even address the fuel price for let we own price no go day above their own. Now make them not go to $0.84 we own day around $1.84. That now for tell you say then they think as a country and they do things for maximize the welfare of their citizens. Now we get this social contract where they always emphasize. Now we understand say sovereignty belongs to the people. Not so we get sovereignty. Not so we leaders them. We leaders them. Now we employers them. We not the employees. Now we employ them. Then are the employees. We not the employer. When mean say they answerable to we and therefore work for we. We elect them on a mandate. Them promise and based on them promises then I make we elect them. We mean say them for deliver for maximize the welfare of the people of this country. But most of government's policies then lately when me they see are go be very very blunt for say they favor the upper class and I complete bias to the vast majority of the working class and the masses of this country. That's what I go tell you plainly. How? It's simple. Now me and you two can be average Sierra Leoneans. But when you are employed, you dey up there, you dey part of the powers that be, you dey earn salary where you go able to sustain you no matter how things they happen at the country. where the average Sierra Leoneans for make even get in daily bread na problem. So if you fuel go, for example, 8,000, some people in the week is still buy 250 liters, 200 liters, per week. He put an remote car in the user. But that man where they left in host na morning for good Dove Court. If he be they pay 1,500, now they increase them to 2,000 leons. It affect them adversely. Now transportation from Kwanadugu to Freetown is about 60,000 and above, to and fro. Not say if people be they pay 25,000, automatically it can increase to 30,000 or 35,000. It means it affect other things the way they for address as a family. Women say this they only protect the upper class because perhaps salary go increase as far as me concerned, and then they earn beautiful salaries for address some of them problems there. Whereas the majority of the citizens we vote them, they suffer the pinch. Now, here is a case study. Very recently, when institutions then at this country where we regard as credible institution be the assess, the 100 days of President's bill, AYV specifically embark on television and radio interviews across the country. Now, when you go to Bo, Kakwa district, Kakwa chiefdom, Bo, in Bo city, an interview was conducted there. People are really they grumble about the hardship. Some man say he been the buyers 210,000 leons, 220,000 leons. Perhaps the most expensive at that time was 240,000 leons. Now it is 270,000 leons going to 300,000 leons. That not rest no more. This government, when them be the campaign, promise the people of this country, woman been there, say the vice president at some point, be even say let businessman they sell the rest them because they get for count rest. And now where the rest? People them be the glad them some people them vote based on deceit. And governance not to lie, governance na reality. For let the institutions of the state work, for let you maximize the welfare of the people, for let you ensure say you can't get day above poverty line. I mean it means you get for really do waiting appropriate and waiting right for the people of this country. Right. So all of them things and they actually not correct and it affect the running of the state.
All right. We also get to many people they describe as neo-colonialism where we experience presently, where you receive institutions like IMF, they give heavy condition to African countries or African governments them, where for example Salon no they export nothing. So government not get any option because we did survive mostly from the country then they or the institution and they we get for agree to wait in the ask for. If it's again the conditions of the IMF also responsible to make we government and can look bad.
Yeah, well, IMF conditionalities not only limited to Sierra Leone. This make we know. The Bretton Woods institutions or them financial institutions they operate with countries that are across the world. So you as a country, therefore be steadfast in handling the economy of your country. You therefore put policies there in place where you not go rely on the institutions there all the time. The institutions then go always push for certain things then for happen based on their own modus operandi or based on their own policies the way then they operate as financial institutions. If you want to take loan from there, if you want grant from there, then they tell you say do this and this. But to therefore move past down there now as a country. We self therefore they tell them say this is what is good for our people. You not just they do something because you want to or IMF don't push you for one. We are not a baby country anymore. Neo-colonialism, the concept behind them, nothing we for deny outrightly. Not something we will forget. Now man always say in fact, even though we don't become a country, we don't gain independence since 1961, and we now can decide what thing they happen within we sovereign borders or within we states. But to still they feel say countries and institutions and they when are them for control the day-to-day affairs of Sierra Leone. No, that is why we get people who elect for representative na government. And then people then they for decide with faith. Now we get countries them. See what is happening in Rwanda. Rwanda suffered the genocide. Not only Sierra Leone fought civil war, and not say Sierra Leone suffered from the civil war, decade senseless civil war. And still the effects of the war is far-reaching. But look what in the happen at Rwanda and some other countries that we equally affect war. Now perhaps Rwanda get the best medical care, if not in Africa, in the world. The cleanest city in Africa. So it depends on leadership and policies. Transformation and leadership is what is the answer
maybe
here.
Based on that example, Sierra Leone don't go through 10 years senseless rebel war.
Of course.
And compared to Rwanda,
Yeah.
maybe one go on for say, the then government, when I went to Jankaba, before the APC come, able for build back the weak, the wounded minds, will be there, use the resources for bring peace in the country. Then we expect the Unayan government to become, after Tijan Kaba, for able to reinstate back the lost glory in the area of infrastructure, economy, and other areas. But many people believe so you una fail for do that.
Yeah, well, it depends the lens we use for analyze the failure or successes. Now, I agree with you that one of the presidents them we media admire now this country, now President Kaba of blessed memory. You know, the other day I make them very clear now. Say President Kaba, because of in governance experience, because of a long standing relationship now the United Nations, nobody not be surprised say he go can build governance institution. What you just mentioned now what you call post-war reconstruction and peace building. I agree say most of the institutions of governance now this country, President Kaba ensure say he follow waiting the truth and reconciliation reports be recommend and do them. With security sector, we restructure. Now that make we get the Office of National Security. Now that make we they call Sierra Leone Police Force for Good. I agree Tijan Kaba do a lot. And to him, peace belong. Because he do something for this country. And when President Ernest by Koroma come, he build on waiting President Tijan Kaba do. He embark on massive infrastructure. I tell you, you self will agree with me, Lawrence, say the status of the infrastructure in this country where President Koroma take over 2007 to 2018, not all the same at all. Except if you don't want to do, you want to do disservice to President Koroma. You know what will be the deplorable conditions of roads. You know what will be the deplorable conditions of electricity. You know a lot of things there where President Koroma equally do for ensure say he stabilize the economy of this country. There was a point when Sierra Leone was rated as one of the fastest growing economy in the world, if not in Africa. You agree with me? That was in 2014. Now because of the two shocks them all get, now it devastate the economy. Me and you to know say we been get the Ebola virus disease we broke out now this country, neighboring Liberia and Guinea. It affect the economy seriously. Me and you to know say we been get the iron ore crisis where the price drop now the international market. Where that now one of the commodities where the export will make we economy be strong. So all of that be affected. Now we are taking off from that point where we economy affected when the elections come in and the people of this country decide for try the Sierra Leone People's Party for a 5 years mandate. Let them see what themselves can deliver. We're not uncommon in any democratic dispensation. Any opposition can be a ruling government. And so the people of this country not do bad. Then just say more could try another government. Let's see what themselves can do. But we achieve successes are enormous.
Minkailu Koroma, you represent the All People's Congress now, so continue for the with you now the program. And with that, I want to welcome Lahai Leema, National Publicity Secretary at the Sierra Leone People's Party. Good afternoon, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Alex.
You also double as Deputy Minister Internal Affairs. We there this afternoon for also respond to some of the things that Mr. Koroma will say at the program. Listening to Mr. Koroma, I very well know they don't listen from where they come and up to this stage. But mainly we look at the reasons why we continue for the get increase in price. And waiting at the way forward for make as a country make us settle some of them things here. So you don't listen to Mr. Koroma. Which you want to take from the government point of view?
I preface that with a very simple analogy. If you born meet you papa and you mama no make effort in life, you go suffer for let you be whether you go be in life. But if you get a spirit of determination and you get a serious mindset, you will certainly achieve and be a better person. But for let you achieve and be a better person in life, you go deal suffer. You go really suffer. You go do all things where you're not supposed to do. So that's not the analogy way I just preface the argument with. Now, when we look at then things that already happen today, we know they just come, sit down and begin discuss them immediately. But then we go back to history and look at why we so today in this country, where other countries and where we even get independence before don't actually move ahead of we. This country, before this time, of course, let's just give a brief summary of history. being got a very strong economy in this country. We, in fact, we economy, even in terms of we exchange rate, being stronger than the dollars. But because of Shaka Stephen and corrupt tendencies, them, it weakened the economy of this country, and at the same time, bring in corruption into institutions, them, where it finally been bring Momo for able for continue with that in reign of corruption. And Momo come and not been get the expertise for ensure say it deliver the economy of this country, it end up for declare economic state of emergency. Where of course after years of way for ensure say then power after economic mismanagement, destructions of every fabric of a society, it get for bring war in this country. And when the war come in this country, even for pursue the war, it been difficult. Soldiers and they die in the hands of RUF, where they been better trained past them. But because they not been get the expertise, they been get the expertise but not get the equipment, and as a result of that, then die. Fortunately for we, NPRC come into governance and make sure say then use their own skills for make sure say then pursue the war. Eventually, President Kaba come with nothing in coffers, and at the same time use in expertise and use in professionalism for make sure say it deliver the economy of this country by paying all foreign debts where APC be left this country pa, and all domestic debts where APC be left this country pa, and try for get the economy on its feet, and also left money in our account. When President Koroma come in about 3 months, the APC then destroyed Ande by engaging in massive exercises, like you talk of inauguration ceremony, you talk of other engagements then way President Koroma and the APC be engaging. Before then they say 3 months, the money where President Kaba left, it don't done. And we begin now revert into going into loans. Now, I hear Minkailu, they talk about infrastructural development. Of course, at the period where we take over governance, when Pakaba been in power, you're not going to talk about infrastructural development in the period of war. So the thing where President Kaba and the SLPP government been faced with at the point, and for make sure say we finish the war and see how best we will reform institutions them and set up a very good institution, build on the economy before you're able to turn back for doing infrastructure development. So at the point when President Koroma take over, he take over on a very good footing and on a very sound footing for able to move this country go before. If President Koroma being sincere and the APC government being sincere for deliver this country, today we're not for done to talk about increase in price, we're not for done to talk about increase in dollars, we're not for to talk about the very many issues today where APC fail for do, where make this country how they suffer today. And they not also get a face, then they can't sit on a radio and they shout about things when they don't plunder this country at all. If we take over a country where as a result of the bad infrastructural developments that we then go into for weakening the economy of this country, or for get an opportunity for steal from the state, or for thief from the country in coffers, and make sure say then ground this country out to a point that every individual citizen of this country, if you calculate the debt we per this country and then say we for pay as per individual, every individual will get for pay nothing less than $200,000 for make we able for make sure say we pay the loans the way this country are owe. If you talk about infrastructure development, let's take Wilkins Road for example. When about 4-kilometer roadway, of course, the then finance minister we now being APC flag bearer Dr. Samuel Kamabe said they spend about 19 million some $100 for make Wilkins Road in a 4.3 kilometer. When you go into the government transition report, it give an account say up to $30 million being spent for make that road day. So now then infrastructure development and the Minkailu they can't sit down how they talk about. If we talk about things today very difficult for this country now, because the APC really not rule this country with any sense of patriotism, they not rule this country with any sense of nationalism, they rule this country with the selfish aim for enrich themselves, and indeed then enrich themselves and keep the country poor. And because the country poor, and that is where we have taken over, we have started, God bless we with a leader, we're very patriotic, we're very nationalistic, and where God even given the wisdom for like able for select a national team competent enough and capable enough for able for ensure say then deliver the economy. Now what thing the government do through the Minister of Finance? We know say no government no go succeed with a monopoly of knowledge, because it not get monopoly over knowledge, and therefore every government will for succeed, it succeed by tapping into the knowledge, skills of other people. What in this government do? when President Bio don appoint in ministers them into office because they're competent, what in the finance ministry do? The finance minister, even before they reverse the budget, it try for get consultation first with other stakeholders, and it gets consultation with stakeholders with very much are capable and competent and skills. I mean, skill in terms of economic recovery. Now, Mr. Jacob Jususafa and team get consultative meeting with bank managers. It gets consultative meeting with manufacturers. It get consultative meeting with importers. It get consultative meeting with engineers, chambers of commerce, and at the same time, even the Ministry of Finance also get a team where they can normally consult with a group of civil society experts them. So if you get a government where actually set up a ministry or it put people in offices where get this kind of expertise for consult with people for actually revive a broken economy that was inherited, then that tells you that this government they on a very good footing. What's in clear not that it is difficult now because of Usai we find ourselves. It is difficult now because APC thief from the coffers where the transition report self don't put beer and we're very factual in nature. And what in the transition report even be do now just a scoping exercise, in other words, a snapshot for ensure say now from these people and we they take over and from what we don't take over, this is what we are presenting to the public. Now from that presentation, they now make recommendations, say let us set up a special auditing team. And they tell you for free, when that special auditing team where they don't set up, when they get for come with in report, you go see say the transition team not even do anything in terms of digging out the failing and rampant and organized corruption of the outgoing APC government, will plunder this country economy to zero, right? Will make every individual citizen in this country today they suffer. And because this government very prudent and get competent people for deliver the economy, that is why we're very truthful with people, we're very truthful with the citizens. We come out plainly and tell them, say, we inherit a very bad economy as a result of the organized system of corruption where the previous APC government under the leadership of President Koroma engaged in. Within this country how we did, also we see President Koroma bill us where it worth how many £1,000. President Koroma was just an insurance broker. We not been get that kind of amount before even coming to governance. In governance wise, as president, we see a bill house now God rich, everybody know. Right? We're worth how many millions of pounds at the expense of this country. We see in ministers there. We see heads of parastatals there. How much they enrich themselves at the expense of the coffers of this country. And so today, if APC really get faced, they're not for the even kind of public forum and even a talk. Because this government really serious, it don't set up the right team for ensure say we get people who go deliver. Now let's take for example, when I hear Minkailu they talk about the system of policy where this government implements now policy where just they enrich the one the way they up for continue for being enriched. Now what in this government don't do? Because this government care for poor people this government care about the future of poor people what did this government decide for do? This government will say if you continue for keep the salary of low income earners, yeah, at that very low scale, at the end of the day, when them people and they go on retirement, they not get better money where they go for retire, which will go for also sustain the livelihood even when they are not in active service. Now, what's been done they happen in the previous administration? Then decide for ensure say they increase leave allowances of low income earners and then keep their salary very low. So at the end of the day, when them people and they retire, even they not get anything better we go for uphold and livelihood and also keep them sustainable onto the point where of course then your humble time will come where then go answer to the divine call. Now what in this government decide for do? They say okay, let we look into the leave allowances of all public sector workers so that we go able for ensure say we increase their salary, we go able for make sure say by the time then they retire, then get a very good retirement package. We're able for upkeep them, and at the same time, if they're able for reach the pension scheme, then that money we then go able for get, it go able for sustain them. Because what's in clear now, we get a law or policy we clear say the month where you dey retire, this last salary where they get, na in go be you benefit where you get for the get. Let us say you are a low income earner where they earn, or you didn't in a public sector worker, you dey earn 350,000 leons. Then you retire. That 350,000 leons where you dey retire out, na in na you benefit where you get for where you get for the get, or you pension. Then this government don't say. Then law say now then they give you something like 900,000 leons as leave allowance, because leave allowance is not taxable. This government now say, let we increase the salary of them people them here, so that we go able for the tax, then salary, then at the end of the day, when then they retire, then go retire with a very good package where they go able for sustain their livelihood onto the point where then go answer to a divine call. This now for tell you say, this government, it care about the livelihood not only of the upper class and the middle class, but even the one that way they call the common people. And so for let this government able for achieve a decision where very reasonable, where prudent in the circumstance and in the nature, you always get for take decision where in the immediate circumstance it get for be difficult for people, but it gets a long-term benefit, and it gets a benefit on the future of the people. Now that make even when the president and in government decide say, if we for improve on the livelihood of this country, if we for ensure say we for develop this country, then let we invest in the human development, in human development, waiting the president and in government decide for do. Now for make sure say, then give free education where every parent or every pikin in this country are going for benefit from.
All right. Let's take you back. You begin from Sheikh Stevens, and but historian, plenty people believe say Salon begin for Paul from Sir Albert Magai. We are going to get a very good prime minister from Milty Magai. We get an open policy, try for get a one Sierra Leone system, but come into Albert Magai, we come begin bring tribalism and tribalize the army and other things, destroy the peaceful infrastructure of Sierra Leone. We are in that cohesion not again, and the love between people not again. We bring in the differences. We are in, many people believe that the tribalism begin, and the division begin. It begin for bringing policies them we know they promote economic growth. Policies them way they bring divide in the country. Come into Sheikh Stephen. Well, many people again believe say, like you said earlier on, get very bad policies, destroy the country, both infrastructure wise, economic wise, and even in the area of cohesion. But Momo come again and change, bring in multi-party system and all that, improve this country to come to Pakaba.
Momo improve this country, you say?
Both political wise, economic wise, bringing policies.
With economic state of emergency, talk on improvement?
However, it bringing it far more better than waiting Sheikh Stephen may do
anyway,
when he look into policy development and all that. So blaming from Sheikh Stephen, nothing is going back to the Albert Magai, on to Momo, responsible for the destruction of Salon, than blaming Ernest by Koroma, where plenty of people believe say, even though they get the bad side, but change the face of Sierra Leone positively in Chijan Kaba.
The chain of history, we actually plunder this country for take the back seat in every spheres of life, was corrected by President Kaba. Now, before I come to the correction of President Kaba, you talk about Sir Albert Magai. Sir Albert Magai, in the first place, proposing a one-party system in this country, at the point in time had a very good intention, but then at the point also we get a very vibrant judiciary of this country at the point in time where they ensure say that move, you understand, be frustrated and that it not stand. But it be unfortunate that that very judiciary also not able for fight against Shaka Stephen in dictatorship, we're able for help for plunder this country in every spheres of life. When how you go talk about Shaka Stephen had a very good policy at a point in time where it go build hosts, where in fact in own policies them not complete, not different even from President Koroma own. In fact, President Koroma own policies are even worse than Shaka Stephen time. Now they come, I know it's exactly the talker. Let us take Kabasha Lodge for instance, where of course not be a state lodge where Shaka Stephen been built. You go on for also understand how corrupt was that administration at the point in time after you don't build that state lodge in bad day. He asked the state again for presenter, a state property. You don't understand. And after where the state present, he manipulate the state and the state present and that. Then all of a sudden again, he decide back for sell him again, give the state. How corrupt nature than they, where of course don't contribute for ensure say the economy of this country a plunder, you understand, to the barest minimum, and to a point that when Shaka Stephen don't destroy this country in every facet, and he don't see him say if he left power and he not put somebody way for succeed him, right, in existence actually go be limited. What do you do? He go take Momo, we not be know nothing about politics, who was a professional soldier, he can put him ahead of military. In fact, Usa begin first for destroy. Now when he take both Momo, when I be head of military and also the police head, and make them politicians by including them as members of parliament. Now they first of all it starts for destroy the professionalism of the institutions then they. You understand? And at the same time try forget them people and they compromise for protect in bad policies them way contribute for destroy this country. In fact, when Momo take over President Stevens, because Momo not been gets the know-how, now he now can take the blame of the destruction where Shaka Stephen be actually exposed this country to. And because instead not been get any know-how, in now institutionalized corruption where we been get the popular saying say, Usa you tie cow, now they eat. What in that be mean? That been don't try for tell you say now. You were able to protect the corrupt means of government at a point in time, and you self they get your own survival. You continue for maintain office, and that therefore it therefore increase loan and debt upon this country to a point that this country not been get anywhere again for move on because people be they suffer and also them be they abuse them right and they deal with people and victimize people. The dictatorship at a point in time now be one moment than the way Shaka Stephen and the APCB get an opportunity for make this country and develop this country and unite this country, but rather they use them to their own advantage and to the disadvantage of the country, wherein they use dictatorship for keep people in offices, for corrupt the state, and at the same time consolidate power at the expense of the masses, where that's been therefore lead to war in this country. And when the war come, of course, it lead to destruction of properties, because economy not be there. In fact, you're not going to even talk about economic destructions. So when President Kaba come as a prudent leader, he try for clear all of that, and put the country on a very fresh footing and on the right direction. And President Koroma come again and still pursue that Shaka Stephen policy of corruption, stealing from the state, and make sure say he destroy the economy of the country by enriching himself and in cohorts at the expense of the country. Now, today again, like Pakaba, like President Bio, we have inherited a very bad economy. You understand? We don't make, of course, what will they talk about today? Price increase. Will they talk about today? Price increase, like you're talking about fuel. Well, of course, that self gets in your own benefit by the policy actions where the president take, where the president don't decide for put in place now. Like I said, like President Kaba, like President Bio also, God don't use them for get a wisdom for select the right team of people into offices. And if we suffer everything today, not so we making, and because we also promise the people and say we can't deliver, now that make President Bio and in government don't try for set the framework and make less Sierra Leonean they understand say whatever today get for happen, it get for be difficult because of who side we take off. But we assure una say by the time we land to the destination where we promise, we go always forget this country back on in feet, where of course it will be beneficial and it will get a positive impact on the livelihood of Sierra Leoneans. Now that make we very confident for let the people understand who side the APC left this country. And me want for say for goodness sake, let the APC get face small and get respect for the people of this country and believe say they are very intelligent. Not because you think say you don't duck in the doors of university, you go can't sit down behind microphone and think say you they talk to people we don't know then left from the right. The people know then left from the right. Now that make even when the APC been done lie on the people and continue for lie on the people ensure say them vote them out. Right. And we know come sit down here and lie to the people of this country. We come for tell the people and the fact say APC plunder the economy of this country. That is why this country is suffering the stagnation today we are suffering. But at the same time, as a responsible government, we don't set the pace for make sure say by the time we don't take off properly, when we get into it proper, people will begin to experience the desired change and we will positively impact on the livelihood and towards the development of this country.
All right, I'll bring Minkailu. But just you talk about the 10%, even though you not call percentage, but the increment one are due for salary for the low from grade 1 to grade 6. people don't dey analyze and say mostly when you look at a 50,000 yard check and you not make any move, any positive move, or somebody get for paying asset and all that, this increment to happen, and they reflect positively. Some people even check and for being at 50,000.
Well, until now, so you say some people are saying now 50,000. It depends on what you are earning. What is clear is the fact that if it's somebody they earn money where you know they benefit them, then that money they not taxable, or the tax where they put that money not go for ensure say a benefit that person at the period of retirement. Then you they give that person a very huge amount of leave allowance where you not go get any positive impact on a livelihood by the time they retire from office. Then this government think and why say no, we get for be responsible and ensure say we work towards the improvement of the livelihood of we low income earners by ensuring that we increase on the salary scheme, so that at the end of the day what you they retire with, that will be the money where you go get for the receive as you benefit or as you pension. So that is a very good move by this government as opposed to the previous administration where things say then for increase the leave allowances of low income earner will not get any positive impact by the time they retire from offices. So this move by the government for ensure say they increase the salary scheme, right, of low income earner to a point that way it will benefit them at the period of retirement. It's a very good initiative by this government.
All right, we'll come back to you. I will bring Minkailu, but I just welcome civil society Thomas Babadi. We self because of weather, I'm sure, is here late. Thomas, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, good afternoon.
You don't listen to the two politicians them from a civil society point of view or nationalistic point of view. Listening to them and looking at the condition or the state where this country is presently, waiting if it's irresponsible, selling going backward. SLPP don't they cry say APC they not power, they waste money, price and they go up and all that. But the same SLPP come, things continue for the go up. Waiting if it's irresponsible as a country, who side the problem they when we continue for the get increase in prices and other things that they make life difficult for salon people them.
Now the economy. No country moving in the world without economy.
So why simple the bad economy?
Simple example like us. If you us you get picking them with the go school. It depends the amount of money we get. Now you make them go that kind of school you want for them go. And I know they earn 1 million. Me two picking them, one they go Leema, one go Lebanese school. It's not possible at all. If they earn 20 million, they're going for goodie. You know, I give pay per year, I give left out mutuka. It depends on the kind of economy, the amount of money we get in the economy. The public sector, money inside the public sector is very, very small. You know, over the years, very, very small. And the way it happened basically, 2011-13, now we get a very huge amount of money we can inside the economy because we be the export. We be the export. We all stop for export, definitely, balance of trade, they become deficit. You know, but when you export, you get surplus. And so now, at the moment, we are not exporting. Secondly, you look at other countries them within West Africa, who they export. Like Nigeria, they export oil. Now the largest economy in West Africa, and they compete with South Africa. But we not get money. We lack the amount of money we forget for inject into the economy. Let the economy boom. And so that's a challenge for us. We will hope say in the future we will export and probably we might get oil. We will export. We will come back. You know, we give for export. We give a look at macroeconomic policies. In a way like you know you do diversify your economy. What you go do for ensure say you support. For example, you look at with tourism industry. Look at the marine industry. Where you know say with World Bank in 2016 say that's not the next destination for Sierra Leone. If Sierra Leone invest money in that place, they will get money. But at the moment now, Liberia they charge 7%. Ghana, Nigeria na 10%. Guinea na 5%. We only charge 1% for vessels where they come. And so what do we do? How do we improve our economy? Now the question problem. Now look at where they make the Finance Act of 2016, 17, whatever they can't even now. Now for improve one, for get more money, tax people tax companies and the country they move with corporate tax. Not with local tax for them. No. Corporate tax and they move country and make America improve, China improve, and so the Finance Act, the maker specifically, one, the speed behind the act they say, and for generate money, improve on local content and increase employment. That you use them again for market the country internationally. One, you package product also, market them overseas, you export them, made in Sierra Leone, produced in Sierra Leone, that kind of thing. So when you do that kind of thing, you do who more support financially. But if you don't get money, you just be talking. Now, I've been listening to me brother Minkailu at the house, the Nikai. I listen to my brother Leema again. When you look at the two presidents them and it's Koroma and Pakaba, what thing they do, how they do them, when they do them. You want to see the all bill institutions. Pakaba bill a left behind 14 key institutions. Well, till date, they respond to the needs of Sierra Leoneans. NACIT, NATCOM, IMC, NPPA, PPIC, ONS, ACC, Sleeper, Human Commission. All these institutions put together, they do well. And as Koroma come, it out Youth Commission, it out National Media Agency, Independent Police Complaint Board. He himself left almost 17 institutions. Now what you do again, he improve on the one that Pakaba left, ACC. Before, ACC was weak in terms of the laws. He improve them. NACIT, ONS still did it. So these are the things we have to do. But again, looking at the economy now where they happen to be, this Finance Act, where you don't touch, when they say you pull from $4, you can now charge $1.5. Then they don't adversely affect the local industries. And so they complain. Secondly, farmers them way, not doing the Ebola, no say agriculture be the key almost 31% into waiting and cultural economy. Where would GDP be the go? Al Jazeera come out very clear on that. Say shallow economy they can shrink because Ebola don't hit agriculture not going again. The price on oil don't shrink. Don't go on the world market. Secondly, people don't ever go around again. And even the African London mining, where they even help, they can't live. So that was a shock to me. But again, agriculture was contributing almost 31%. And so now at the moment, you get almost 35,000 people already farm sorghum. We don't even cry on this Finance Act. So these are the things. One thing where I think say the government do, we don't get money, you inject money into the pocket of people. How? Through small and medium scale enterprises. These are the ways. You're not going to money in a city to get money. No, that's not government. Government they create the enabling environment. We create that for you, you have to come in and thrive easily. And so SMEs are more important than they. So this is say this Finance Act, then have to take a second look at them again for help we. Secondly, the fear will not increase. I don't know which mathematics they use. We still have a question the maths, and look at Liberia and Guinea. Guinea they do and so. Then of course then their own method for strike. I don't believe in strike actions. I believe in engagement, dialogue. Georgia, no war. Liberia, quite recently, a professor winner, the Minister of Trade and Investment or whatever, he said counter statement. The young will quantify them in leons, from Liberian dollar, that's 6,550 leons.
It's $0.84.
Yes. So we don't get now 8,000 leons. Yeah. But I agree say the price of transport, still stand to 1.5. It was 1.3, but again because coin not be there, now 1.5. But again, it don't affect. Look at the dollar. I don't know. Now let's go back to 2016. Waiting SPP, they pull us press release. I still never forget it. It was a good one. It was all over the place. And that was championed by Jacob Yusufa. It was a very good press release. Where we talk about the size of cabinets, institutions where they go for can match, how they go for handle inflation, how they go for handle the dollar, how they go for make sure say, because they even they quote palmine, granite, pepper, all 19 in day, and then tell you how much it be there 2007 before they left, and how much you don't do now. And look at the inflation rate where they left, how much you do now. The dollar rate where they be left, how much you don't do now. So these guys are very serious. And they look at say the cabinet, they get for can downsize the cabinet, and that the cabinet is for bloated under President Koroma. You get Minister of Youth separate, sports separate, water resources separate. You get this, they'll get for come mature the ministry system. And of course close some institutions where you're not going to do. But again, you look at the cabinet size, we don't come in. And then they say they for table now a bill for say for being for pay ministers them above that money they pay them. Each minister no say the last budget will go here in that be 21 million before tax. After tax is about 12 or 13 million. The difference between minister and deputy minister are 500,000 euros. Now you got to get vehicles in for them. You got to get fuel cheap for them. Then they got to go out per diem. What are they per diem rate? They say, you know, when they go out of country. And that's now they don't say moderately they're going to use economic class, which is good. Yeah. So these are the things you they cut down. Secondly, you know, if they're able to handle the issue of giving out contracts, valid contracts, not white elephant contracts, like they identify in the GTT reports. They will give them and then reduce wastage or rather slippages. Then that will be fine for us as a country. And so say they put some money into the pocket and pockets of people. How? Through SMEs. There's a place now where sleeper, they own a sleeper. Wait now for enable small scale enterprises. Them for example, 2009 the government starts. How they do them? Then go through IRC. We get a project where they train people. We get saloon, then we get barbing shop, then we get telecenter, mobile phone center. Where they repair mobile phones, train them, equip them, open account for them. From there, they introduce them to like Africell, Airtel, you know, go take fish, you can sell. Once then they monitor your account. How your account will grow, that's why they can give you money for you to improve on them. If your account will grow, then they can advise you. That's it. So you know what? If you have to do anything in day, you reduce poor, and you reduce unemployment. And so we the advice say, yeah, let them continue. In that way, that 2016 press release, if they go back and look into it and can't apply them, then it go fine for we as a country, as a people, and as a nation. Now, finally, and they look at the two health system. We can say an Koroma build infrastructure. Pakaba safe left infrastructure them. You know, but not as compared to that of President Koroma. Pakaba safe build infrastructure. Nine EXCID, Central, Eastern Police, some roads them, you know, then Chinese hospitals that so all was on the Pakaba. But as Koroma again can improve Chinese hospitals them, you see we get 100 beds now. It was like 24 bedrooms them. Now we almost get 100 beds them. We get roads them all over the country. Paved, constructed, we get street lights, we get traffic lights them all over the place. It was President Koroma. Pakaba did his own and Koroma did his. Yeah? Now the quantum at which they do their own, nine different. You know, and Koroma, for me, I think say it can get luck, it bracket money, it creates way for make money, yeah, bring in other investors. In other words, that's part of international development. Me like development practitioner. I believe in creating new ways of doing business. If you do so, that means you enable young people them. How you do them? For example, Koroma will get money for put people in the pocket. But when African media come, how much do they pay people in people in left and government work? They don't go work. People in left, they don't go to London mining. So that is it. So you release burden like America now. Donald Trump continue to release burden from the from government. How you do them? You create the private sector. I mean, they may get what they call a house private-public partnership. Yeah, that PPP. You get NCP. So what you do now? You create the private sector. They become more stronger. Everything you do now, they pay corporate tax. You get more money for capital-intensive programs. You get for increase public sector salary. So these are the issues. These are the ways you're able for. You just say education. Now, if you look at the current problem we like Salomon in the Gomobot, where we refer to as some way because make it at our base. At times, I take put listen. I will take taxi, you know, and then people in the talk. People get passing away. People appreciate more. Some people still get problems with the way how things they go. So I think say we need to up game. We need to push, especially this field where really make people think otherwise. I don't know how we get for do again. For instance, say if possible we reverse or we can't down small. You know, we go really fine for this seasonally. I think that will stop at the moment.
All right, Thomas Babadi, continue for the with you now the program. La bring you Minkailu. but I take you back from what Leema say. When Sheki take over, he meet a strong economy with this country we get. Sheka Stephen come, he destroy the economy there with different policies. The way get one party state and all that. Although somebody would ask, say, would I bring the one party state or would I start the idea? Then come to NPRC. NPRC make some improvement. So he then come, then they say, Paul Oltin, Pakabaka, it means nothing. He pay debts the way Sheki we don't do, Momo, and Orlandi. He improve back the economy and left something. APC come again and Paul all waiting Pakaba don't do. Left. I copy from waiting Leema say. I just highlight so
whose money waiting a cover? Whose money will meet?
It's APC come again and Paul all waiting Pakaba we don't build. The foundation we don't set and all that. Now SFP is back. Listen to Lahai Lawrence Freeman. Maybe later I will respond to waiting Babadi say. Which one you take?
Yeah, thank you very much. I like your sense of history. And then I really not be one delve into talking history, whereas we go try for deviate from the actual things that we will for talk we get for do with the well-being and sustenance of our people them. But for do justice to your question, I feel say I go throw small light on that. Now, the economy of this country can be analyzed differently by different individuals. But one good thing now that the facts not the hide. Now, President Shaka Stevens, President Joseph Saidu Momo, President Kaba, President Ernest Bai Koroma, and President Bio, they all get for be judged based on their stewardship. Now, Sir Albert Magai, everybody know now this country say, most of the reasons that we're responsible for the decade civil incursion will destroy the economy of this country. If you write us and they tell you about how this country economy then destroy, it always they refer you to the decade civil incursion. And it begs the questions who we are in charge during this period. Now, Leema been the try for talk say you cannot build infrastructures during war for Pakaba, and that if President Koroma been maintain the economy based on how Pakaba been left or how he inherited from Pakaba, then Sierra Leone for the side they so. Now he also very much dey in place for debates or talk on governance issues where he get vast knowledge or experience about what governance really takes. Me and you to know say Tijan Kaba been get a platform on which he rule this country, and that platform now been the poverty reduction strategy paper PRSP 1 and 2 or 2 in terms them. Now that platform the Tijan Kaba govern this country, and how this strategy came about. The same Bretton Woods institutions and financial institutions they are all they talk about. The international community, expert them from different fields, and they sit down together, put their strategies there in place. Matthew, the same strategies there when a PRSP 3 and 4. Now that platform the President Koroma also govern this country with. PRSP 3 and 4. The PRSP 3 is done at the agenda for change. And at the agenda for change APC campaign on 2007, we usher we into governance, political governance of the state. Then we come back 2012 to 2018, we say the agenda for prosperity. That's not just a change of name. But while you know say in a PRSP 3 and 4, we govern this state by. We mean say we get benchmarks and for meet. And we meet most of them benchmarks and they. You know what's in the human rights record? Where President Koroma left. You know in the human rights index, we say they rate Sierra Leone before President Koroma they left. So all of them things and every president must achieve. Now if you talk say President Kaba not been doing embark on infrastructure. Yes, he embark on that. Infrastructure not only mean physical buildings that wait him up. You get state institutions. You know me say go build the structure. Now we been get post-war reconstruction at this country. And Tijan Kaba ensure say he go through the recommendation of the TRC. Now that make we get Office of National Security. Now that make we get NCD. Now that make we get the Human Rights Commission. Now that make we get PPRC. And now that make we even get NACIT. And now that make Income Tax Board being transformed to NRA. He do a lot. President Koroma come. Well, the same way we been the K school at Kenema, gain admission into Frabe College. We left Kenema in the morning, 5 o'clock for Camp Freeton, for go from Frabe College. We are going to spend the rest of the day on the road Would they left 5 o'clock, or not they reach here, take 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening? You know what they be mean? It be mean say the road condition be very deplorable. Even businesses, they're not being they flourish correctly. Now, even there with small scale agriculture, how people and they embark on. For transport, then goods they have from them villages then to big town then for can sell dove cut. You forget good road for let get most way they go the first. Otherwise, then people are not able to embark on their own agriculture, self food they do at that small scale day. So if you say waiting President Koroma do for embark on infrastructure in terms of road not being correct, and that was corrupt, it begs the question about the knowledge where we really get on governance issues. Now we talk about corruption. In human history, there can be no corrupt regime than the regime where the NPRC, khaki boys them, be really used for govern this country. You remember Dr. Abbas Bundu, the now Speaker of Parliament, that was controversially elected as Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Abbas Bundu. He writes a book. The book title, he called him Bush Path to Destruction. You know what he writes about NPRC in that book? You know what he talk about the root causes of the war in that book? And when they talk about corruption, people will not squander the money of this country. Lahai Leema forget say, the current president of this republic, His Excellency, retired Brigadier Julius Madabio, was chairman of NPRC at some point. We don't get people that we don't come out plain and they explain. Dr. Abbas Bundu states in boot pass to destruction, where the NPRC be the governor of this country, say, the economy of the state was left in tatters. Its infrastructures were totally destroyed. The khaki boys embarked on massive embezzlement and siphoning of state resources or state funds. Then now they talk about Ernest Koroma being corrupt, other politicians being corrupt. Why will not they make reference for do justice to the history of this country and posterity go judge me rightly? Now we take into account all of them in a day. So we get a situation in which the popular Alpha side of Bangura, where in fact now one of the PR, now the SLPP, always be on to maintain how corrupt the incumbent president day. They talk about the purchasing of gunboats. At one point in time during the election high period, we get a situation in which as my guy, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, been emphasized similar points about corruption of $40 million. Now Star TV and Star Radio, he talk and the record been all over this country. The presidential flag bearer of the All People's Congress, Dr. Samura Kamara, when he was financial secretary at that point, be making clearly about the embezzlement of $18 million by His Excellency the President. All of that, why Leema not mentioned Dandy?
Because Samura not get integrity and a lie be the lie.
And then, really go like also, the questions that were they asked, perhaps not rhetorical, or Leema go get the share, opportunity for response later, but we've been the talk and not been the talk now the background. I only go appreciate it.
Go forget that particular point there, so
please, I really want to get a share time, make her flag me issues them correctly and appropriately as out them for day. Now all of this law will not distort the history of this country, just like how SLPP in opposition be they do. Where people say do good policies, then they come, then lie to the people of this country, say no, not so good policies. We they come, fuel price they go down. We they come, the economy go strong. We they come, hardship go down. And now they don't give them governance, but still people they suffer. In fact, at a scale worse than how it been there. Don't remember then here. Leema talk about Ernest by Koroma in the past regime, or with leaders they're not being patriotic, they're not being nationalistic. In like them very seriously, what is patriotism? Ernest Koroma, if you're not being patriotic, enough for don't ensure say we get a regime change in this country. He was going to hold on to power if he had wanted to do so. There were claims all over the place for him to have changed the electoral commissioner. Because the inadequacies them been too boku, claims them been they say NEC not been to do their job correctly. Civil society have been pull press release. There was a point where some civil society be even one strike for late changer. He stood on his ground.
Which one? APC civil society?
He talks say no, I was not going to do that. Lord, do justice to this country and Lord maintain the democracy with the bill. In other one, President Madabio win and Koroma certify the result and tell him for announcer how democratic can a president be more than that? When he was and still chairman and leader of his party. He not say I hold on to power, no, because me na chairman and leader, while me party still lay, because he nationalistic, because he patriotic, he hand over power peacefully to an elected regime with all respect. Because that's not the tenet of democracy where we they look up to. Now, again, Mr. Leema, the deputy minister, say you no go can't sit on a radio with a face of APC, with all the corrupt practices the whole don't do in this country, for can't talk to the people of this country. It means we do not understand the role of an opposition. An opposition, let me emphasize this point, is a government in waiting. An opposition is responsible to hold the government to tax. An opposition is responsible to provide solution where the government know they do the right things, like waiting they happen currently in Sierra Leone. Now that make we feel say we for take on issues them of political importance, issues that way they maximize the welfare of the people of this country and actually discuss them and provide solutions. Now we even be the talk. One of the solutions we may prefer that this government say they remove the taxes from alcohol beverages because we get porous borders and because illegal crossing points them boku. Me say no, we don't need for do that. Now we all be respect to Jankaba because of his vast knowledge by governance and because he belong work na UN. We respect Ernest by Koroma because of his vast knowledge by business and because we believe say they can build on infrastructure. And now we respect President Bio because of his security background based on what he studied academic wise, then in training as a military person. For ensure say the security of the state is maximally guaranteed. Now we dey talk about illegal crossing points, we dey talk about smuggling. President Bio for using expertise for ensure say we are protected as citizens of this country. Now security of the state is not only limited to protecting the defined borders of a state. Mark you, we get what we call human security. When a human needs theory, this government no able guarantee the basic needs of Sierra Leoneans at all. They no able guarantee. I will need for look to that. Minus that to get what we call environmental security also. Yes, a situation this incumbent government when they were in opposition, any small thing where APC do, then they criticize. Now then be even say the toll road was not a good policy. And the way they come, then go look into and perhaps then go even pull up. Yes, but now look the toll road they gone. Nobody is asking questions. So even the money where them they no let
Thank
me
you very much. At least it has come from the
APC.
We will strongly look into it.
The money where they be the
No,
if you
come on.
get 6-cylinder vehicle, you dey pass.
I'm glad it has come from an APC rep.
You don't see. So now the toll road still gone.
That's a good one. It's a very good recommendation.
What you they tell me now as a government say you they can't do, you they can't look into certain other policies. I not on it. I believe say you give me brother appropriate time from now on.
You cannot take all the time. You have raised a lot of issues to
I get a lot for Amal. Now we talk about the GTT report. I not be even one mention that because to me it's a sham.
All right, let it be a sham.
I not be even one mention the GTT report. You, Mr. Moderator, I hope
we still experience the sham nature of it.
Yeah, really very very much in place. Now you know after the First World War, we been get the League of Nations for maintain world peace and security. The League of Nations not be able to maintain world peace and security at all. We get the outbreak of the Second World War in 1939 to 1945. So at the end of the war in 1945, countries that will become victorious, then go establish what we call the Nuremberg trial. Now the first transitional justice mechanism down in the world. The Nuremberg trial then go establish how me and you two go down fair to war. Waiting APC and SLPP Mindepa now war, civilized war. Civilized war for win electorate. Civilized war for win political power. Why after we SLPP don't win political power, then go grab for go set up a transition team for look into the smooth running of the states, waiting this government we don't do and how they can transfer power over to the other government. Then go put people in this transition team when are just key players them.
It shows your limitation of governance.
Key players them. You're not supposed to do so. I have no limitations in governance because I am a governance expert.
On this aspect, you are limited.
I am never limited.
All right, we'll address it.
Let me make it very clear. I am never limited as far as governance is concerned. I am an expert in governance.
I will address
Let
it.
that be underscored. Now, GTT reports. Government transition report not limited to Sierra Leone. We get Boku countries that we don't do transition reports. And we know the expert that working day into them transition report here. APC do transition report in this country. Yes, it do. And when APC be they do transition report, it maintain most of the people that we been in SLPP. It bring in civil society organization and few APC people will not be too political for do transition report and then table to President Koroma. The report was there for tell President Koroma how he meet the state, how they inherit the state, which side they take him from that point. But this report, I really not one mentioner. Now because me brother mention and I make her the bring up. This report to me, it dey in place because any government will come, you need to get a background about what you meet, the USA they take the country.
So if you see them for enforce them, like what
No, the report they in place because any government for do transition report, you forget that. Forgive if you are knowledge about what you mean.
So,
the danger.
The report. I allow you to continue. I just want to clarify something. The report they in place. The report itself as transition report for they in place.
Of course.
Or the content in the report they in place. Which of the two?
The report they in place, but I don't agree with the content. They are not agree with the manner and way in which they go about the report.
All right. Okay. Continue.
In fact, no government, no the way a serious government, you can't take over governance, you don't ask for let them do a report, let them tell you what's at the status of the country where they can govern. Yeah? What are they saying at that? Things the way they mention at the report not be even called for. Then they emphasize on regionalism at this report. They emphasize on tribalism at this report. And these are things they will for try as best as we can as a nation for avoid. They even make claims that most of the people where get higher offices there, where the Koroma regime be they employ, where they work at big offices there, both diplomatically and nationally, now not northerners there, which is not correct. It is never correct. The Southeasterners then dominate the civil service. Of course, yes. Now all of the strategic positions them. Now the Ministry of Finance, when are the backbone of any country, the ministry that's when are the backbone of any country, finance and economic development. It begs the question who was director of budget. It begs the question who was you may want to ask Sudan at Asimaja, you may want to ask Sudan at Sajusu, you may want to ask Sudan at Matthew Dingy, you may want to ask Sudan at all of them people who are waiting on the Koroma regime for 10 years they work for this country. Nobody not touch them, nobody not shake them. All of these things they are not correct. Would they talk about nationalism? Would they talk about patriotism? Would they bastardize with us?
All right.
See what happen now parliament. All of them things are not going to go to her. But I am being prompted to do so.
Thank God. We all go to the parliamentary issue.
Now, we get what we call parliamentary supremacy. You see the kind of fortunate thing we happen there.
What do you mean by parliamentary supremacy?
Parliamentary supremacy means parliament is for supreme, parliament for supreme, parliament for
members say Minkailu don't engage the podium before we come. You cannot give him all the time in responding and time is going.
And parliament for direct what's in the happen at this country because based on the laws the way that they make, parliament for be the most powerful institution. You understand? As far as me concerned.
So you know
now we get a party we get the majority.
So it don't lose our supremacy.
Yes, totally. Nasara Leona.
It lost some.
It lost some based now. No. It lost her now.
It lost her during this
yes.
government. All right, we'll come back to you.
No, I get a lot of issues then. Please,
yes,
land.
I met you talking.
Now let me also come.
And I not even talk as commensurate to the time we talk, and you don't take all the time for respond.
Now the SLPP don't increase tax so much that the tax then where people they pay now attack, you don't make everything on the in this country. The tax, ask businessman then. The alarming tax where they don't come put. They make all things on the in this country. Now then they also criticize the APC, say APC they just appoint and create offices unnecessarily. But then President Biodon can establish other offices, that even the diplomatic missions, they don't increase them. Now, it's not easy for you maintain an ambassador or high commissioner compared to how you for maintain a minister or deputy minister. But don't can get more embassies then. But even the diplomatic missions then, where they in existence state today, they outgoing one day, they not pay the aids. Even the one in Ethiopia, then they now so they wait for receive their money. Where they don't pull communication, say they don't pay them. They not even pay the aids.
Be mindful of that.
So now we all know them here. You don't see? If we don't know them here, I will not take them into consideration as they make claims and they do disservice to the people of this country and not go born good picky at all. And so now we take that into serious account, please.
Be mindful when you not go born good picky.
Yeah,
you also have to be mindful of the security situation and clarify what you mean.
Now, Leema, let me tell you. Let me emphasize this.
Clarify what you mean by not go born good picky.
You cannot ask me to clarify. In fact, who are you to ask me to clarify?
Who am I?
Yes.
All right, okay. Well, they come. Okay. Well, the program they listen to us today, they come to you.
You not go born good picking.
That's wonderful.
Means, one, you not go maximize the welfare of the people of this country. You go bad.
How?
When you not no, you are not asking me. You are not the moderator.
All right.
Well, ask him. Otherwise, you go answer question to that. Ask him. Let clarify.
I have no questions to answer.
Leema,
Alex, you owe a duty for ask him for clarify
No, I
that.
am not
which
clarifying.
that which they do now.
This is Sierra Leone.
All right.
So let continue.
You cannot ask me question and I answer.
And you must realize I'm a government minister and I am fine. I have immunities.
I
And
don't
if you
want
not
to know.
comport yourself well, honestly speaking,
Alright,
you have to answer
what do you
certain
mean by
questions for
comporting?
breaching laws of
Now,
the
Leema,
Alright,
listen,
hold on.
listen, I'll tell you one
Alright,
thing.
All right.
You minister business, then you're not servant of the people. You are not made a minister to intimidate people. I am not the type that will be intimidated.
Comport yourself. That's all I'm
You are
seeking.
not to knock
Alright.
prayer. We will not get respect for the rule of law.
All right,
And human rights.
Minkailu, allow just hold on. The allow we get response to Leema in relation to waiting Mr. Koroma don't say, and I'll think I'll be done in my mind. Also, somebody they say, you know, former student union president of Frobe College, which for me I listen to. I just want to confirm that. Now, Lawrence Leema, listening to Mr. Koroma, we don't they highlight some of the issues. We they respond to some of the things that we say, and they bring out some of the other things which they respond.
Before I respond first, let I just teach them on the laws. The Public
You
Order
cannot
Act.
teach me on the laws.
The Public Order
At all.
Act. Come
You don't
on.
have the capacity to do so.
I guess
That
you
just
have
take
to
note,
moderate
allow
this
him.
program.
Just allow him.
The Public Order Act make provisions for respect for people in public offices. I sit here as a government minister, and also talking to me, you have to mind the temperate of language in which you talk to me.
You
You not go talk to me in a language with tantamount
Do you mind
to
your
insulting,
interpretation of your language when you are-
Right,
with
right,
tantamount to
hold-
insulting
again.
conduct.
You be mind and they-
If you talk to me in a language with tantamount to a, come on, am I talking?
Hello, all right, all
Am
right.
I talking?
All right, let me also
If you talk to me in a language, I come. No, let clarify this.
Allow we do. Let we stay off from that angle.
No, I'm not going to stay off it. I have to educate the public on
program
that.
is well
And also, let me
moderated
educate him
and-
on that.
No,
I
listen,
can,
the
please.
program be under full control. And again, I will also assure you, say nobody no go say something we go against somebody's personality, nor go against the ethics of IMC.
Fine. Now,
So
let me now
let
clarify
we just
this.
continue.
If you're not mindful of your choice of word against people who hold public offices,
Yeah, you
if it
mindful?
amounts to the conduct who say somebody go consider and for be an insulting conduct, then you answer a question for that. Now, coming to the point.
And also, you're here as National Publicity Secretary
That
for
is
the.
the point.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And as the national, I mean,
That is the bottom
You are the
line.
Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs.
Agreed.
But for this program, you're here as National.
for this
Publicity-
program, I'm divested of my immunity under the laws of this country.
No,
Is
no,
that what
no,
you're saying?
No, you still have your immunity.
Fine.
English your position as publicity secretary so that another person will be representing.
I don't.
Well,
I
let
don't.
me not
Make,
waste
I think I
time.
don't make
Don't
the
not waste
point.
time
I don't
on
make
this.
the point.
Let's,
Very factual on that issue. There.
Thank you.
There is a police here to the effect, so I'm not going to even waste me energy on that. Now, talking about the issue of IMF left this country. Fine. There's some. They talk about President Koroma doing very well for this country in terms of infrastructure development. I think that's still not been defeat the argument we are raised. That President Koroma and in government engaging on infrastructure development was at the expense of this country and the poor people of this country, rather not for the development of this country. Much of the roads them way President Koroma under an administration then do today, they not even be done left power. A lot of them roads then they don't spoil, and then do them at a bloated figures of where they of course take from we coffers. Now, and at the same time, he make mention of gunboats in the case. Now, the few areas the Musai, you be the try for misrepresent to the public now to clarify. You make reference to gunboats. Because the NPRC take over, I'm not here holding a brief for NPRC, but for clarify and set the record straight, how APC don't plunder this country economy and don't make this country don't take the back seat in terms of human development and even infrastructural development of this country. Now, talking about gunboats, because the NPRC take over government at a point in time where they not be even able to protect the territorial waters of this country, where a lot of criminal activities been going on at the seas, and also will not be able to pursue the war and also protect with territorial waters, waiting been done to happen. The NPRC be need for purchase a gunboat, where of course a requisition was made by a team when a procurement team was set up and put up the findings where the procurement team put them findings before President Bio, who was the Army Chief of Staff at a point in time. They approve of for the purchase of that gunboat. Now, when they come with gunboats, there is a law in contracts. When you go into any contractual agreement for the purchase of goods, in the first place, you go for you where they come with you and the seller. get for make an undertaking say the goods what they come for can sell you at the price where me and you two don't negotiate, that goods they get for fit for purpose. You don't understand. And if it turns out that the goods not fit for purpose, then in other words, you don't breach the contract, where it even lead to a point of me not paying even for that goods and either call for a replacement. Now what happen? The gunboat way, of course, then be say then they sell this Sierra Leone at that amount. It can't end up for turn say the gunboat's not been fit for the purpose, and therefore the MPRC not been paid for the gunboats, nor President Kaba and the SLPP pay for the gunboats. But because of the corrupt nature of the APC under the President Koroma regime, what did they do? Then decide for raise up that gunboat issue and decides for pay for the gunboat at the expense of this country, and then pocket the excess money into their own pocket where render this country you understand, at lost. So if then they sit down and they talk about gunboat, where of course the MPRC say we negotiate the contract of gunboats, they not pay for them because the gunboats not be fit for the purpose where they negotiate. President Kaba and the SLPP not pay for the gunboat because it not been fit for the purpose. Then the APC come and pay for the gunboats at the expense of this country economy, and only for the hope say then they look forward for a kickback. It tells you how corrupt, you understand, and organized corrupt racketeering where the APC be engaged in for plunder the economy of this country. Now on the issue Usai I've been to tell Minkailu say he is limited in his understanding regarding that issue. Let's clarify him. Now limitation on the basis that the transition team where they set up now be a team where supposed for take over a government where they go out by a government where they come in. And in setting up a team of that nature, you know they expect for go take an outsider. We're not going for work in their offices, then they for can't take stock from a government where they go out. Now waiting the transition team don't do, then compile all of them findings and make recommendations where then put out to the public. Now in putting out that to the public, they make recommendations to the president. The president now for set up a special auditing team, where that special auditing team now get for comprise of waiting at their own understanding of taking people outside government realm for make them be part of that team, right? That is the team then they misunderstand from the transition team. And I'm very sure the commission of inquiry now get for incorporate much of waiting then desire or waiting them if you say now for being be the transition team. The transition team, I repeat, now a body way of government representative where they take over from the outgoing administration, and then we make sure say they interview everybody where we occupy offices. Now coming back again on the issue of NEC, of course by law now this country we got procedure as to how you pull NEC official, and President Koroma now appoint Mr. Mfa Ali Conte into office, where of course we oppositions that we can make. They can just consult we. But whether we consultation is something they go by or not, but then they consult we. And at the end of the day, the president resolved at the decision of selecting Mr. Mfa Ali Conte, where parliament approved as the chairman of NEC. And in so far under the circumstance, we not see any point to say Mr. Mfa Ali Conte err or show any professional misconduct in the discharge of in functions or of in duties. We see a point Usai, the very APC be act lawless in this country, when at the ancestor been the push for more time in this country. We've been led by the then youth minister when I've been by Mahmoud. Now start the more time campaign, followed by then Robin Fale and others, right? And the president not be make an outright condemnation to that effect where go show say, of course it don't demonstrate leadership for a call where in supporters then the call for, where of course it been there against the constitution of this country, and where in itself been get the implication of pushing towards a subversive orders, right? And in as much as they not be able to take any practical step for nip that in the bud, it be mean say, if only Sierra Leoneans then be given the opportunity, then for don't get them way for extend the electoral period, you understand, beyond the required specification as prescribed by the constitution of the land. So the issue of talking about Mfa, it is a non-starter, and Mfa Ali under in watch in the 2018 election conducted a free, fair and transparent and credible elections. Even when them push for going to court for say let them give elections results according to districts, even though a lot of issues been there around that. But at the end of the day, as a way of compromise, when they decide for call elections results again by district, it clearly showed transparency in the elections of 2018 where they conduct. Against that backdrop, we see again the very supporters of the APC again become lawless and be so erratic, and to a point that they embarrass we as a nation by attacking international players will not get any benefits where they get from this country other than the fact that they want to maintain world peace and security by ensuring that every state where of course they go through a transition period then for be present and ensure say then guide the process for make the process go be successful for make it come out fine. In a clear instance and looking at the circumstances surrounding the tenure of leadership of President Koroma, the indications can be very, very obvious that President Koroma not be sincere about conducting elections, but because we get a democratic society in which credible civil society organization, sincere and patriotic Sierra Leoneans can stand their grounds and ensure say the right thing happen. International players then come and ensure say then guide the process for make it be truthful and for make it come out fine. And thankfully enough, the people of Sierra Leone come for say APC now be a bunch of organized criminals who come for loot the state and make sure say then cripple the economy of this country where of course then succeed for do where they enrich themselves, they make sure say they render this country are poor to a point that the poor the poverty state where they render this country into it gets a ripple effect where of course it not gonna be tackled in just 100 days. But for me, when I see the desperation of the frustrated people, and where of course we think say they're not be ever for common power, and then we think say Sierra Leoneans are fools, and that they go come and lie past Sierra Leoneans, they're not forgetting the fact say times then don't change, awareness level of people then don't raise, and that if you can't sit on a radio where you talk through, people get the ability for understand say you talk through. When you lie to the public, the people know say you lie, and because of the blatant lie where the APC they lie to the public becomes so erratic and so become disturbed by that fact and decide say then vote them massively out of governance, and the process was clean and transparent, and President Bio take over the reins of government. And President Bio in watch, he don't try as best as possible in a motorman, but he don't try in best, even though yes, the level today or the state really there in a very difficult circumstance as a result of the APC looting capacity where they make this country are so poor and thief all the state coffer and render this country are poor. President Bio don't still set up a team where that team they credible enough for ensure say then do justice to this country by ensuring that we deliver this country in economy. Now I also try for look at a situation outside people they talk about President Koroma being very lucky for get a very buoyant economy at a point where it didn't have government. But if that is what we are saying, that yes, President Koroma been get a time where the GDP rate of this country have been done the increase under President Koroma in watch. But then at the end of the day, we also the question why President Koroma left we now a state with such amount of debt where they for this country, and at the same time, a left we in a state where we're not able to export nothing. I see them blame them on Ebola, then blame them on fall in prices of iron ore and the rest of other things. But then if President Koroma be a very good leader, or the APC being get a team will be very sincere for work for this country, I am very sure even in the time when they talk about shocks, will still be for not able for maintain the status quo and keep the economy alive, to a point to go recover. But then SSA bring in economic rationalization where, of course, for me, na austerity, but then be the same economic rationalization. But indeed, they were not practical in the implementation of what in the SSF being put forward. In fact, the period where they come with the economic rationalization, that now the period where APC engaged in massive looting of this country in coffers, that now the period where APC engaged in extravagant spending, that now the period where APC engaged in bloated overseas travel at the expense of this country in economy. Now, President Bio don't come within this 100 days period, he don't try for properly implement waiting them be they call economic rationalization, and that's don't help for recover a bit the economy, and it don't set this country on a very good footing for make sure say this country economy go be recovered and the development programs or strives that we talk about go be achieved. Now, part of the good things that way President Bio don't do, where a lot of people, if they're sincere and they're very patriotic, don't they talk about the free education. The free education now one that way President Bio don't put in place and ensure say it committed to RAM, and it don't every bit of opportunity where it get for talk to the public, it always they show commitments to that level and ensure say it don't put structures and mechanisms in place for ensure say we kickstart the free education programs where it want for implement. Now, like part of in policy priority programs, we talk about recovering the economy or revamping the economy where it don't put structures them in place, where it don't also come in a very truthful manner to the people of this country and say we get for be as small the difficulties where they go through and make some adjustments, but certainly we will land safely by virtue of the structures the world don't put for recover the economy. And he also show commitment, say, the free education program go work. That I will tell you, in order for only be, say, na Southeastern get for benefit from her, or na Mendeman get for benefit from her, but even me list small brother within a Krubola, me list small sister within a Karine, go get for benefit from that free education programs. And that self, when you also work on the enlightenment of your country and population, then a day you they also begin for show say you they work towards development. The benefits go be long term, but at the end of the day, it go set this country on a very good footing where this country in development level go increase, because once you get the level of awareness, you can also able for diversify your own very economic status and determine what your economic status can mean. If this one area not able for beneficial to you, but because you are educated, you are empowered, you can look for an alternative means of livelihood for make you able for sustain. Right. So that is the basis and foundation where President Bio don't lay. Now, in terms of talking about roads, Minkailu says where they talk say it be the struggle for Komo, Kenema, for Kana University. But if he's very truthful to in conscience, he go no say President Kaba left them road and they under constructions, and where we come, we be the meet, of course, the companies and been there at work. And we they come and ensure say when President Bio Koroma come, what he then do? In fact, they even try for review some of them road projects then they and try for make sure say then do even a substandard road by ensuring that then get a kickback to that effect. So when you talk about President Koroma and in government engaging in infrastructure development at the expense of the country, and we don't make the country don't pour, if you do 4.5 kilometer at the cost of 30 million United States dollars, you know what you will be for don't recover, where we for don't do them at the cost of perhaps 4.5 million United States dollar, then something if you don't do for 4.5 million United States dollar, then you do them for the cost of 30 million United States dollar. That shows the level of organized criminal racketeering where render or plunder the economy of this country, where it gets a spillover effect on the people of this country today. But with President Bio in prudent leadership and the setting up the rightful team for ensure say the economy of this country is delivered, we don't promise the people say by the time we take off, in fact the finance minister don't come here, he don't talk say in the next 6 months, get into 1 year, we go don't actually get some stability in the economy. And so talking about even removal of fuel subsidy, yes, we get for Duam. At the city, they make mention of comparative analysis to Liberia. The manner in which L.A. Johnson Sirleaf, former president of Liberia, ruled Liberia, and from the sideway upon where take over, if not so President Bio been take over from this country, or even how President Kaba been left the state for President Koroma, if not so President Koroma and the APC be left this country, I tell you for free, like far day ahead. But because they plunder the country economy and make sure say then thief from the country for making it difficult for let this government not survive, make it not succeed. Right. Now I make again and don't engage in that and same lie strategy for can begin to lie to the people. But I'm very grateful that President Kaba in prudent democratic leadership will show to this country the awareness level of Sierra Leoneans don't increase. That if you're not truthful to the people, you continue for lie to the people, they will continue for despise you, and the people will continue for appreciate the SLPP because we get the rightful technocrats and we get the rightful leadership where they ensure say he rule this country by the grace of God and in 2 terms, by the grace of God and by waiting it they do to the people and with every sense of humility. And the SLPP will be the hub for ensure say Sierra Leone is developed and the livelihood of the people of this country
more than
is
enough
developed.
time.
And the people will always remember President Bio like they
Lahai,
remember
Lawrence,
J.J. Rawlings,
Leema,
Nagana.
National Publicity Secretary, Sierra Leone People's Party. Of course, Pambule will not listen to Lahai, Lawrence, Leema, Minkailu, Mansae, and Thomas Babadi, where we will come back to shortly. But we will go to the phone line. I think Mr. Koroma has phone, Thomas Mansae, but I will a small bit so we will avoid tension. Low get phone calls and get the people on side. And again, I also want to make few things clear. We start a little bit late, so because of that, we'll cover for that time day because of the rain and all that. We go extend the time a little bit, so you go match up to the time we will require the program.
Hello.
Also, some people be don't get G3 because of Lahai or Leema say police there. So the police not there though. We get private security them, so a lot of people don't feel secure and people not begin feel. No, that man in a civilian dress now press release carry it. So that's it. So I just want to clarify a few things. So now we go online. Now also one volunteer. I already don't shape the time. Then when how long get to time and when I don't come into two. So yeah, so we'll come back and get a response. Now respond to the calls now. And respond to individually. Hello, name outside the call from.
Hello? Hello?
Would I ask that people then come out near
Hello,
the
yes.
phone or near
Hello?
the radio when they make call? And also
Hello?
let the call for attack anybody in personality now
Hello?
so now for
I call
discuss
from
the issues.
Jamaica for this
Hello?
conference. Hello?
Yeah, name outside the call
Yeah,
from.
these are call from Jamaica now for the conference. Hello?
The contribution.
Okay. I just tell Mr. Leema that God thank you. Let God guide.
What's near the radio way they call. So the fact that you didn't hear a radio, if even you want to say anything sensible, will cut you. No attack nobody in personality. Hello, your name outside the call from.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Your name outside the call from.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ibrahim. I call from June.
Sir, contribution.
My contribution is that I tell all una thank you. I tell Lahai Leema thank you. And see this country, forget truth to government. Believe me, now this time around we get them. And see one thing, Akabadi they go, it left so many money in this country, and two, it left road construction companies in this country, and then they work in this country. Understand? And most of the road they will left, it didn't let make up. Understand? Me question what I ask, why make them politicians they're so gonna bank for loan? Where they say the poor one way in this country, you know they have access loan in this country, but then the politicians so gonna bank for good loan. Look like the woman, the former president, a woman, according to Uta the still go like 8 billion na bank then this year. Understand? We be say then they not to investor go take them on then they as a loan. Whose investment in Ghana this country? I mean the way they go left they take them on then na bank as a loan. Understand? I want to know that neighbor. Maybe
All right. Plenty. Thank you. The number now 077981981. And I tell also for just we there also for make things clear. People know the rights out. This journalists will be write that story. They don't apologize. Say the information will be put out not be correct. So he apologizing and wrong information he be give in relation to this 8 billion or this person they talk about. So now I'm past to the right time.
Hello?
Hello, name outside the call from.
Hello?
Your name outside the call from.
Hello? Radio Democracy. Hello?
Yes, your name outside the call from.
Yeah, the concerned citizen. Waiting at they try for sale. Where then they go to radio stations and then they go and attack themselves. Not what we want now. Waiting we want now for let them tell we the goodness now when Mother Bio, His Excellency the President they can't do for we because we vote are in for let it do for we waiting the APC don't come point because we not say the APC point. It point then they so because if the like what like Tijan Kababi less they left the rest 60,000. Therefore we don't able to study the economy for we so that the rest not for we don't reach 200,000. So if they don't can do that then now on, since we don't vote in with Papa, in don't can now for can restore we that this nation, let them tell we the good thing there. But waiting them plan for can do for let the economy steady for we. Let them let for the attack themselves. Then Leema become a like and too much way then a radio station. I like in voice normal way in the talk. Let it just ignore some of the things there where then they say when no sometimes you get for ignore some things that were not really necessary, not relevant. You see? So let it tell everybody good thing there. Let them try restore this economy, the food business more. Because now that make we vote them in, just like how we be the singer. Tolobo no they sit on ya angry boku. So let them try for we now. That no more again for say. Leema, I love you.
077981981 and also they make 1 minute at least so you call make a point in 1 minute. We take 4 more calls and end the calls for today. Hello, your name and outside the call from.
Hello.
Yes, your name and outside the call from.
Yeah, this is Mohammed. I call from Wilberforce.
Yes, I contribution.
Thank you to Radio Democracy for this program and the other programs to really educate the public. My own word to the panelists that I tell them thank you for it in the defendant position. But let them understand say Sierra Leoneans them we don't wise up and that we look forward to them policies them and the impact we then get. Slowly but surely, people they take off the colors and they focus on the bread and butter issues. So let SLPP not feel say they don't get everybody on board. Let them try as much as possible for deliver on them promise system. And because of the failure of the APC government, make people vote them. So they don't need to tell people how APC failed. What we need to know now how them plan for succeed and deliver on them promises. And let them stay focused on that one. They let them understand, say, we Sierra Leoneans, them, they don't not take it for granted. If they not deliver come 2023, and go vote them out, like how they vote out APC. And we will continue to do this experiment until we get them right. Let God bless you all. Let God bless this country.
All right, thank you very much. We take 3 more calls. Hello, your name outside the call from 077 981 981 or 099 981 981. 3 more sensible calls. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your name outside the call from.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir. Your name outside the call from.
Yeah, I mean I concerned citizen I call from Lumley. But me now I advise I want try forgive. When they na the radio station, if not particular person in own time to talk, may the left fella in talk. May the next man will interfere. Now in the face can small crackers between the of two. Okay, now the man is talk. Okay, Alexa in time they talk. Allow him to.
All right, we lost that caller there, so we still wait for 3 successful calls. Hello, your name outside the call from.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Your name outside the call from.
Yeah, this is not concerned citizen they come from Lumley. Yeah, they are gladly waiting in the talk so all waiting in the explain. We know say the people of Sierra Leone, we know say APC we don't fail people in. You understand? So the government will take place, the driver, the bossman, their implants them when we don't outline to people them. Once young he operates with them plans then they. So yeah, possible with Sierra Leone see this don't fail, this don't fail. We will vote, we know see them we don't fail, and make we vote them out. So let them continue voting and don't say we see them they can't do for we, let them do it for you. So now that's I guess.
All right, we take 2 more calls. Hello, your name outside the call from. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Your name
Yes,
outside
sir.
the call from.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good
Me
afternoon.
na Canada Azoni the call for McKinney. APC government, none of the most corrupt government in this country. We pray.
Still, they wait for 2 more calls. Hello, your name outside the call from. Yes, sir. A contribution.
Yes, sir. Yeah, waiting on my contribution. Now, about Leema, Mr. Leema, campaign time we don't pass. We don't yet.
We wait for 1 call. So I think the rest go serve as 1 call. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your name outside the call from.
It's now fully sorry from Unity House. Thank you very much. Waiting more for say. Now this one where APC they say this one go bonfire picking, this one go bonfire picking. Then don't they say repeatedly. Con los Zivo don't say this one they also. Other people from McKinney they say this one they also say it no go bonfire picking. In 2007, the Social Commission of Inquiry and also. Alpha will go there throughout the country. No nothing. It take commodity. This one now. when they don't tell no kind of the social commission of inquiry, they say no go born 5 picking. So me God, it go born 5 picking. We go there peaceful one, we don't want to this country again. And anybody tell that, and then when they will not step for left arm, we go demonstrate against them for that one day. You no go born 5 picking, you no go born 5 picking. You go born 5 picking, anybody so far we don't see this country money, you go pull them. Then we investigate them, judicial say, without partisan, without fear of favor, without anything. If you don't say, you don't thief money, face the inquiry. Why don't you come on yourself for one? We'll be out of the best. We want peace in this country also. Thank you very much. This is a full sorry from Unity House.
All right, we take one more call, bonus, then we'll come back at the studio. All right, well, and we go tap because we really want to take more calls, but that's not permitted. So we go come back in the studio and get response. I go this time around. I go start from the civil society man. I'll start with you, Thomas Babadi, the calls and also respond to the two politicians then, which them we don't say earlier, and I'm sure you will take notes.
Yeah, but I will take some notes. But again,
Let
us say this: we'll not get we'll not get APC civil society, we'll not get SAP civil society, we'll not get NGC civil society or civil society. We get civil society. We divide into class. You get put into child rights activism, youth, human rights, democracy, and good governance. No, statement by him. I mean, there is no SAP civil society.
Statement
no
by Leema.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lord, just note that one day. We all look forward to a better Sierra Leone. Okay. That's our focus. Yeah, for youth, especially when they say education. We don't get myself involved because I'm not convinced yet. When you talk about quality education, which in the SDG 4C, sustainable, quality, and affordable education, SDG 4, yeah, for meet that target say by 2032. How do we meet that at primary and secondary is very, very important. How we'll get e-libraries, how we'll get good laboratories in back. In those days now, this country, when we go to school, we say Prince of Wales was the best science school. They get good laboratories. Even in school, I don't take that time in the 90s. What we did, good laboratories. So don't forget good quality, sustainable education. It go very, very good for picking them in the next 10 years. If we miss standing now, there will be people produce quack lawyers, quack doctors, quack journalists, quack teachers, and everybody quack. So look at good one them. Enough teachers them, train, equip, well motivated teachers them for talk to the beginning, at least 35 or 40 per class. When I go from one and in 1989, we were 35 in class. 30 in class. That was the largest class. Work more municipal schools. Or go from 2, 27, 28 in class. Yeah? But again, you will say population increase or whatever. The world don't bring people in come. So one for the thing about quality education. Me deal with schools in the past 12 years on education, and I've trained so many who are now lawyers. Yeah? Some people, they do not people, they work in the banks. Now, I look at APC and SVP, they talk. Not to their fault. They go to them called transgenerational hatredness. We don't start from 1960, 61, before they go for independence. When they go, now we start to forget the one-party system discussion. It was one of the benchmark. Look at the law of independence. Go check them and look and find. So Milton Magai table at Parliament. Sarah Stevens was not in favor from then left for go now England. When they go, that particular thing then make fancy, then fall out because of the benchmark we don't have for say one party. It would have been good at that time. The initiative and intention was really good, maybe at that time. But again, now they will fall out. When they fall out, 61 APC register September after the independence. Yeah, they were arrested and sent to prison. All the APC people across the country. After that now, up till date, you see that now, they defect each other. That is it. It's transnational. I'm doing a research on that. Now, I come to this this issue of this way go fund the embassy for ethnic violence. The national team be there in place. We applaud the efforts of President Bio for the national team. We put together. Every other government, when a super-minor government, when you come, you just get to do a transition report. If you not do them, that means you're not super at all. But when you do them, in the way of doing it, you get to bring people away independent in the judgment. ABC when they come journalists them in the international team, they put civil society in there, we call it them today. So you not appoint one pandemic. You know, they put different categories of people in for go look at the reports them. They put them together and they submit. Then they inform the Commission of Inquiry. Then bring in Justice Shemenga from the Gambia, which was fine. Then do them from there, they close the chapter and then move ahead, you know, for being for deliver the deliverables. Now, if Strasser at H27 come, he say he get a team. Instead for do Gambia Jammeh have read his own report. Jammeh self do a transitional team. He put them together and do something. But instead be called people who are independent for look into what in Jawara don't do. Senegal, Ablawa did the same. Ablawa was in Senegal, in Parliament of Senegal for almost 15, 16 years in opposition. Where can he do a report? Mandela, the same thing he did. I've read that report again, except the Kenya report. That's all. But again, this one, nothing happened. Then the team meets 12 times for compare and contrast note. But the amount of irregularities, the errors them, time, date, place, amount of money, you know, and positions them, what I call to people them. In the next 15 years, some students will be very, very serious, studious, the one for doing desserts or in thesis, go cut this document, go say, the first lady, we left 2 days after, they go vandalize, now be in. And then, President Koroma said and soon happen. Anthony Minister of Justice was JFK. You know, the mayor of Freetown was Abbott in 2014. Then go meet and society and discuss what Sarah Grounds market. Look at what happened again. He say President Koroma, it got down in history. President Koroma in his administration be the employee people to come from the northwest. And to a point in recent times, WhatsApp they put and say, NATCOM, not just for Southeastern and Didi. The rest, the northwestern. You go to finance, then they put them so IMC, you know, all that thing and they fund the embassy of ethnic violence. One document you have to encourage everybody in this country. If you lecture alone, not you party, because over the way, I don't understand waiting really happen. People elect party past country. It's unfortunate in Sierra Leone. Ghana is not so at all. Gambia is not so. Nigeria is not so at all. Guinea no. Sierra Leone will elect with party pass with country. Now the party take precedence. Both APC and SPP, I will say this in front of them. They love the parties more than the country. And then they will die for the party rather than the country. Now, look at what happened. You say President Koroma in your administration be the employee from the northwest only and live in the southeast. When you look at the public service, you get more southeastern. You know? So I wonder why they put that in the day. And then he say President Koroma in your administration take 10 years. You know, construct no road na Kenema. In the report, I've read the report, a short page, 132 pages. In the report, you say President Koroma construct no road na Kenema. So these are things where like
so
with a friend. Now, let me just say this. If people in this country go and read President Kaba in report, the TRC report, if you read them, you share the right, you left them. Think they will happen in this country. You're afraid. You go afraid. Where you rule, where you lead, you're afraid. The report, the TRC reports, go read them. If voluminous, it will take you time. If you get exams for what they call you, go for the office work or whatever. But go take your time. If now 1 month, take and read them. When you read them, you're afraid. And you go elect your country more than the party or even the president self. And the country force put forward. So please, dear, would they ask that report today, let them go look at their back. One organization they make say, now tribalism, ethnicism, now bring and then provoke war. And bad economic policies.
Of course.
Then provoke war. The use of the judiciary, we see in recent times, the judiciary is being overused, disinstitutionalized, overutilized. And again, let us come again to this. Maybe we want to talk about the economy, but again, what happened at Parliament? For us as civil societies, we don't put on the press release. Yeah? The first on this of President Biu. Put on the press release, call it the press houses. We don't get much money, but put money together. Yeah, because we really want to see say, things going right footing. That's in the first time in the history of Sierra Leone, we get a speaker and deputy speaker will not be voted for by all members of parliament. Now, some members of parliament then vote for the speaker and deputy speaker. So you are self-imposed speaker and deputy speaker. Then if we look into them, let them go look back section 83. And we advise the opposition parties let them table that in the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court give me a clear definition of what in that term they mean. Section 83, where you say people have to go vote for the speaker and deputy speaker, but a member may, you know, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm for catch an answer. But again, that's the 83 day. It's very, very clear. as to waiting for happen inside parliament on the first sitting of parliament. Then who have called parliament to sitting? Is it the president or the speaker?
All right.
These are questions we give you ask yourself.
We get,
you know,
who
who that? Yeah, and then and look at this 30
seconds.
Yes, sir. Porous border, legal crossing point. The government get good intention.
3:30 you have talked
Yeah, good intention for the Finance Act, but let's not use this as an excuse. It go embarrassing to the police and the military. Say they not do the job at all. Now we get porous borders and illegal crossing points. Now the police and the military for take precedence in that. Secondly,
I hope I didn't
the
this.
NCC and the custom we used to know, under JFK and how you call it, Macaulay. Those guys, then they go to that body, then they impound trucks, impound them, everything they put and condom, they ensure say they do justice to the country. Yeah, right. So you know what? We would expect the same for continue.
All right.
But again, please, not because of one reason you look.
We have to create a platform for discuss around security, strengthening the borders and all that.
But
we possibly the minister said
the
that
minister
and Leema would ask
it's good security
internal affairs. But today I'm happy is yes, national publicity secretary, the Salon People's Party. Before I come to Minkailu, I think we don't get things and how they go on social media say you don't Leema don't order the arrest of Minkailu and all that. They send me some of them things and they want to make them very clear say nothing like that no day and that's not for be a threat to anybody. We always protect we guess them or whosoever because I see the comments and some people then they send whosoever can so is safe and Radio Democracy always there for protect them even out of the radio station because we get record of anything way with the same so we anybody can present now any side for argue in case. Now I'll come to you, Mr. Koroma Minkailu.
Yes.
Responding to the calls and also some of the things your way Leema does say. I also want to get low so when I both get forget 3 minutes. So you get 3 minutes now, 3 minutes, then we end the program.
5 minutes now, you don't go 3?
Yes, because I just decide for bring down to 3 minutes.
If I go for response to Babadi now.
Yeah,
3 minutes.
Thank you very much. I know say 3 minutes not going to be enough for address all of the issues then we don't come up. First of all, I want make we know say this country in a democratic state. Now that make we call ourselves Radio Democracy. Now that make we been give SLPP the platform for showcase waiting and cable offer to the country. We make the people of Sierra Leone decide for give them a try. You know, I'm not elect for delve into past regimes much. But this gunboat issues will come up now. This gunboat issue will come up here. Now we know say them be take the case to the ECOWAS court. And then we will say the government of Sierra Leone for pay.
Yep.
So that be settled. Now we dey talk about roads. Lahai Leema say Tijan Kaba of blessed memory, they already don't sign contract for the constructions of roads. Even Obinika University and the travel from Kenema. Agreed. Now make government a continuity. President Kaba showers praises on him and say, me now one of the most celebrated presidents of this country. I agree. Because he get for give Caesar, waiting belongs to Caesar. But body being they say, some people lay, then they die for them political party other than in country. Me not a politician, but I put country first. I feel say I advance to some of the things that will happen, both within APC and SLPP. Because I feel say I for be patriotic and my loyalty not to my country, not to political party at all. Now they talk about, I also mentioned the fuel, now Liberia, the fuel price, what they talk about. Ellen Justice Salif left the country on a sound footing we make upon we have president able to handle the fuel issue. That is not a justification for let fuel go up in Sierra Leone, it go down to Liberia at all. Now because even in my view, now because of the claim, officially, government officials then don't talk and say, because Yusuf Keka Thomas and they been talk and say, they understand say people they take fuel from Sierra Leone, they go to Liberia. We make the petroleum industry be even pull press release on that. As a government, they feel say if now that they happen, now an embarrassment to them country. In my view, I feel say now one of the reasons we make them even address them fuel price for let the citizens they not go embarrass them for can they take fuel in Sierra Leone, can't go to Liberia. Then he asks also Babadi, whose road they make na Kenema. Thankfully, na Kenema born, I go St. Paul's Primary School and Government Secondary School respectively. Yes, much roads they not make na Kenema, but the APC government make roads na Kenema.
Which road?
APC government makes make Kisi Road and Kingsway Street. Kingsway Street.
Ose Road.
It make Kingsway Street. It make Kombema Road. It make Homonia Avenue. You go agree with me? Kombema Road starts outside Kingsway Street and it pass government secondary school. You go as far as Kombema, close to Kombema. Yes, it make up. It depends to the kilometer of road, so then be allocated to every district. Then how then decide which streets then prioritize. Of course, APC do something na Kenema in terms of roads. Perhaps you go and say you don't make much roads there, but you not go say you don't make nothing there at all because who self they go there would they see. You see, again the people that we call me and you two go agree say people in this country don't aware of what we call the social contract. They know say then they elect we politicians into governance for can maximize the welfare and protect them as citizens. Now I make even one caller say in a SLPP elect Lahai Lawrence Leema, but however they answer for make it talk to the issues about bread and butter, about the economy, because to them are important. You know me say if you vote for you, you know aware about it, right? Or you don't know what's in the happen.
40 seconds.
Now the time very limited. I will appreciate if you increase this time because 40 seconds. Now we talk about more time. We talk about Mfali. Yes, Mfali was appointed as established by law. But if the president be one get issues with her, if I don't get her, but because he patriotic, he decide not forget issues with her. More time, me not to be ever a proponent of more time. Now that make we get a constitution, we be elect President Koroma for a term limit of 5 years. After that, if I just conduct elections, we get another president. So me not to be a proponent of more time at all. He not go born good picking, somebody called. Yes, we're not specialists there in the fields. If he thinks then they go, we at the end of the day not go born good picking, we'll not for be afraid for say them. He not go born good picking because the country go suffer. If the economy is stiff, people and go suffer. A lot of things will become stifled at the country. You not go before. Now me not they talk say you not go born good picking. I think about war. No, because I know the devastating consequences of war. We don't go through a decade incursion at this country.
5 seconds.
Nobody know the dream about war at this country again. You see, so now we they try to understand the issues and now we talk about free education. Yes, now a laudable venture. Only somebody will know once you are better one, I not go support free education. Any side where government they do good thing, you as opposition for supporter. Free education they in place.
Right,
we only hope that the government will able get all of the resources.
Minkailu,
We will make the free
Minkailu,
education business in
Koroma.
water. Now, we they talk about university fees. Let me talk down there briefly because all they under education. President Bio say the 500,000 we will they pay for university fees. I don't apply in many countries for admission, never by form. It be very much unjustifiable for letting they take money to people there for a university form. But now if you say they pull 500,000 for university form, but again the subsidy way APC government 75%. Now that money the APC be they pay for all university students there, irrespective of your tribe, your region, who side them born you. As long as you gain admission into university, APC government be they pay 75%.
Minkailu, what a
but now this
excellent point.
SLPP government don't pull land it.
Discuss
So if you they
education.
pay 2,500,000
Now,
loans, you get for they pay about 10 million now.
All
Na
right.
college.
Let me give the National Publicity Secretary and the Salon People's Party the chance now. 3 minutes, 10 seconds.
5 minutes. I want to tell me people and plenty thank you with them call. First thing I want to establish now that Minkailu Wesidoya, of course, na me and go school, na my brother, but at the same time, a need for understand say level don't change. I get for respect, where level change, for respect that. And if you think say how be they trading so, I just caution and smaller and no say level don't change.
So you have to make it clear to the public.
And not to imprecisely, I just want to let people know say where level change, the person get constitutional immunities. Now that I be just want clarify so that it go the caution small. Where they talk, let us know to that Lahai Leema, where they talk to
they go around.
Now coming to the point.
They want for clarify.
Now of course that even if I get for arrest and say I go show some sympathy because I'm a brother, we don't come far. But however, while I know say level don't change and I can put on a tight place. However, that's not happen anyway. I just want for make some clarity. I want for tell the people and plenty thank you we make calls. The reason why we can come some way we they tell people and force who side we start. If Papa say a girl for give you better life, but where he get job, then Papa get job. The salary he get for a portion and force. A very good that he get for plan himself well as to what he get for save, what he get for pay transportation with for go school, what he get for pay his school fees and plan himself well. Now if Papa not come for tell you clearly waiting in salary and why make it a portion and so. If we been telling say we get job, you go buy for you car and not buy for you car, then you need to understand why Papa not able to buy for you that car. So that na the kind of analogy where I just want to bring. Now, President Bio, the SLPP, before we can have power, we've been promised this country, say, we go show a very, we go show a strong determination in the fight against corruption. And that it don't actually establish the foundation, one, by setting up a transition team, where the transition team don't do a snapshot and don't take stock of who side, then take the country, and then don't make that self known to the public, and then therefore set up a special auditing team for look into their issues, then they would then recommend. That night clear a sign for show say President Bio committed to what he tell the people and say it go show a determination for fight corruption at this country. The other thing where President Bio been talk again, he say it go revamp the economy. And indeed, the finance minister where President Bio appointed Mr. Jacob Jusu Safa, it don't reverse or it don't review the budgets again at this country, where it don't also table to parliament again. For ensure say we work towards revamping the economy in this country. And in the short while where this government don't kind of power, we don't make sure say we don't work towards that through control in terms of traveling, and also then other things then where perhaps the previous administration be they do it been bloated, where it be they waste this country economy. We don't control that, and we don't save a lot of money. Where them money then they we don't use for pay workers then without going back to any overdrafts. That they show say President Bio don't establish the foundation for ensure say we revamp the economy. Also we talk say in terms of even the bread and butter issue we go address them. Now, when a government can have power, where it take over in a state where, of course, the economy almost there at the brink of collapse, then we be don't lost donor confidence. Where means say people them now the outside world where they help we small for able for make sure say they complement we own effort now for make the country move on. They all be don't withdraw from this country. They don't go. Sierra Leone not be done there again in that state where credible for make they able for loan we or help we. Now what thing don't happen? With even the fact say where APCB don't go start the loan program with IMF and we don't come, we don't implement that. But then we don't ensure say we don't review them in a way that we go able for work towards revamping the economy in a way we go able for improve on the livelihood of the people. So for the time being where we able for work on then here, we got to go through some constraints. When that constraint there, we actually come out in the public for let one understand say we go through them constraints there because of who we start. But we believe say we not go end so. Now that make even the finance seconds. Minister be don't talk say when in Constitution I talk say in the next 6 months we go see massive improvement. We understand the bread and butter issue, but at the promise when I say by the time we get to third year, we will certainly experience a drastic improvement in this. We've been talking say we go run government at a very low cost, where of course it will be able for help on the economy of the country. When I remember say we can in a power, we will get serious challenge with energy supply because of the kind contractual agreements that we will make. We also that have been the tell on the economy of this country massively. But what in this government do? Then try for ensure say then review that contract and make sure say now we actually they pay a very minimal cost for get a sustainable life, and from that end a very difficult for the light go. Apart from also that, the people also want to know what again are the things that we would achieve. Now also again for also take care of the bread and butter issue. If where we don't say okay they don't pull that fuel subsidy, there's a fuel long go up, but in order to change anything in the price of transportation. Okay. Before this time even, we don't pay 1,500 leons for transportation. We are the same thing with the pay. Right. Now let we look at if you get picking where they go school, you pay for 80,000 leons per term.
10 seconds.
Please, I beg. No, you
Just
be extend. No,
seconds.
you get for pay for 80,000 leons per term. Then you pay for 3 terms. That is about 240,000 leons. If you get 3 picking, you calculate that it give you about 720,000 leons. Government say, "I they pull this come up per the parents there. I they pull this burden per them picking there." So meaning if you get your salary, even though yes, fuel price go up, but they adversely impact on your pocket. Then at the same time, this government don't move ahead. Also, then low income earners then where they work in a public environment for make sure say when then they retire with a very good package where you go tell on their livelihood, even when they're not in active employment again. Then don't improve on their salary scheme, where of course it gets a long-term impact. So ideally, this government don't show say they're on the pathway for ensure say we revamp the economy. We also work on human development, and power this government it is succeed under President Bio. And even when President Bio in 2 terms done, people will always see the SLPP as a hub for the development of this country through economy, human capacity development, and infrastructure development, SLPP will always be the hub where get the rightful technocrats and we get the human resource base for push this country in development.
Thank you very much, Lahai Lawrence Leema, National Publicity Secretary, Salon People's Party, and to Minkailu Koroma, Alfred Minkailu Koroma, where they represent the All People's Congress, and Thomas Babadi, winner, the Executive Director of First Lane, where they don't join me this afternoon for talk on issues we get to do with increase in price and waiting on the responsible over the years where things they continue for be very difficult. Me don't be Alex Lawrence Koroma. They say plenty thank you to Usman Kamara, we don't support with the production. Plenty thank you to Moses Kavura and to Franklin Pemabi and to Mega Stacking Artist, we don't make technicality easy for we. Moses Kavura and Moses Pemabi and they make when they see on our Facebook page. Until next week again, we'll go kaya and make get another edition of the program. Salon today. May they say get yourself a blessed Sunday.